Hello, Jefferson. This is Superintendent Brad Capener, and this is our first J-Pod episode. We're going to be doing this, well, our hope is to do it once a week here from here on out. And I have two special guests today, two co-hosts actually. We have Becca Mallory.
Hello.
Hi, Becca. And we have Chris Shaw.
Hello, hello.
And Chris Shaw is our Director of Technology, and Becca is also, she's officially a teacher on special assignment, but does a lot with communications and with technology as well. So, welcome, guys.
Thanks. I'm excited to be here.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
This is going to be a lot of fun, I think. So, first of all, just as we get going, a podcast. Why a podcast? And when I was at a conference this year, I sat at a workshop where the superintendent had been doing a podcast, and it really, what I really liked about it is that it was a way for him to connect with the community and for the schools to connect with the community, more importantly. So, our intention here is to go out into the schools, meet students, meet teachers, find out what's going on in our Jefferson schools and bring that to the community. And I think that's going to be a really nice way to bridge and build that community, build understanding of what's happening in our schools, because there's so many great things that are happening in our schools. You see it when you go to the schools, yeah?
Yeah, every time.
And I see it every time I go. And we're running so fast and furious, we don't always get a chance to really talk about all those good things. So we have our website and we have our, social media page and all that, but it never tells the full story. So we're hoping this would be one more way to do that. So thank you for setting it all up and being my co-host on this.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Today's episode is really focused on our student-based health and resource center that we're going to be building here very shortly. And this is pretty exciting stuff because school-based health centers currently exist in 26 counties in Oregon. They serve 39 rural communities in Oregon already. And in Marion County, the only school district with a school-based health center is Chamawa Indian School.
Really?
Uh-huh. And Newburgh, I'm not sure what county Newburgh's in. You guys know? What's that? It's not Marion.
No.
I don't know.
I'm not.
Nope.
But they have one too. And so there's this brand new, they just started this year. And I got to go see theirs. It was very impressive. But we feel that this is something that can really benefit this community, and I'm really excited to talk about it today.
So what are some of the things that a school-based health resource center does?
Well, our school-based health center is going to kind of focus in four areas. It's going to have there's going to be some medical exam rooms. It's going to focus on behavioral or mental health, and it's going to support dental, and there's also going to be a section of it that supports our homeless students, in that, all school districts have homeless programs where they support, like clothing and supplies, that kind of thing for students that are experiencing houselessness. And we don't have that currently in Jefferson. And so building this is going to actually bring that to Jefferson. And we'll be partnering with different organizations to get free clothing. And this is going to be in at the district office complex, where the old middle school used to be. Mm-hmm. There's still a few buildings standing. One's the gym, and there's an event center there. Behind that is an old band room, and that's the room that we're going to retrofit to be this space. So it'd be a nice place where students can come, and it can be anonymous and discreet, and we can take care of them that way.
I keep hearing you saying the word students specifically. So this is just for the students? This isn't for just anybody in the community to come in? When we're supporting our homeless or students that are experiencing houselessness. This isn't something where we're going to start seeing homeless camps set up right outside
Oh
of
my
this
gosh,
resource center, right?
no. No, that good question, but no. This is just for our students, and we unfortunately have a good number of students who are experiencing houselessness. They might, the way it's defined and how homelessness is defined, you could be living on somebody's couch, and technically be homeless, right? And so
Yeah.
we have what 20, 25 students that are already in that situation. And so I have experience from working at Salem Kaiser where we would have students come that they didn't have shoes to go to school, and siblings would have to share the shoes, and so they would go every other day to school because they were taking turns with the shoes until somebody found out that that was the issue, and the homeless liaison got them shoes, and then they could both come to school. Well, it's the same kind of thing here. It's like we have needs and our kids have needs, but we don't necessarily know what those are, but we don't really have too much right now that we can use to support them. And so this center is going to have like toiletries that kids could just come up and get a toothbrush, and
That's
deodorant.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a teacher, gosh, this is amazing. From a teacher's perspective, I remember um, having to discreetly put bags of items into students' backpacks without making it known that you were giving them supplies to help them out. And it was always really hard because if the bag didn't fit into their backpack, or if they didn't have a backpack, then the conversation of, why are you sending them home with cans of food or with toiletries, and trying to explain that in a way where you're not putting them on the spot. I love that this is discreet, that it's for our kids to come take as they need and our families to come take advantage of that. Like, we need this here in Jefferson. I love that we're doing it here.
Yeah, well, we don't have anything like that in Jefferson, and I think this is something that's going to really make a difference for kids. At the beginning of each year, the last 2 years, we've given away backpacks. We had a back to school event, and that has been hugely successful.
Yeah.
I mean, we've given over 100 backpacks each time away to, and we would give out some free hot dogs and kind of make it fun, but people line up for that. And so this center would also have like backpacks, school supplies, pencils, things that kids need. And as kids come in and out of the school year, it's not everyone comes in September.
Right.
We get kids coming in all the time. So we'll just have that center there for whatever they need: backpacks, supplies, clothing, whatever it is. So yeah, we're excited about that part.
I'm curious about the the medical aspect of it. I know this is a hot topic, and when this came up, like, what kind of services are going to be provided? Is this something that the school is doing, or is this something that we're like contracting out? How does that whole process work?
Yeah, no, great question. So the medical piece, again, there's not a whole lot here in Jefferson. If people don't have health care, or if there's a difficulty getting outside of Jefferson to go to someplace like Albany or Salem, we will have doctors here, is the idea, that they can come and they can, for example, child exams, sick visits, if you have a bad chest cold and you need antibiotics, there won't be a pharmacy here, but they could be seen and get a prescription. Minor injury, a kid falls down and hurts himself, maybe gets a concussion. Doctor could evaluate that.
That's great. Otherwise, if a kid needs medical attention, we have to get them all the way to either Albany or Salem.
Yeah.
It's all about taking down the barriers for education, right? This is what it's about, because if kids aren't coming to school, why aren't they coming to school? And when you start looking at some of the reasons, it's not just because they're staying home because they want to. Sometimes it's a medical issue, or maybe they need a root canal, or maybe they need to take care of a younger sibling because they need that medical care, and the parent has to work. So what we're doing is removing barriers for these kids so they can get the help they need and get back into school and learn where they need to be.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, how are we making this happen? Because I know Jefferson doesn't have a lot of resources. So, how's the magic happening?
Well, and it is magic, and it is a really wonderful story to tell, and I think not everybody gets this type of opportunity. Not every school district gets this wonderful opportunity. We have um, an organization that is focused on philanthropy, and they reached out to me early this year and said, and we just had a conversation. And at the end of the conversation, they said, we would like to help Jefferson out in some way that you can't afford it. And they said, what is it that you would like to have done? And believe it or not, I actually didn't say the school-based health center right off. I gave them a bunch of ideas. We need a track. I mean, our track is in disrepair. We really need to have that done. Our stadium, I don't know if you've been to the stadium lately, but yikes, right?
Uh-huh.
That needs to be fixed at some point here. And so I threw those ideas out first, and then there's CTE, career technical education, and our shops could be retrofitted and new machinery or whatever. So I gave a bunch of ideas like that, and then I also threw in the health-based center because I went to a health conference earlier in the year, and a mental health conference. It was focused on mental health and supporting school districts and kids with mental health issues. And we have after COVID, we have so many kids with that are just kind of struggling that I wanted to get some ideas. And so when I went, I sat, and there was a person from Oregon, believe it or not. This took place in Utah, this conference, but she was actually from Eastern Oregon, and she was presenting on school-based health centers. And afterwards, I went up to her and introduced myself and said, hey, this is a really cool idea, tell me more. So when I got back, she gave me all these links, and I started researching. Well, I just kind of put it on the side shelf. I just, in my brain, I was like, well, that's a really cool thing. We'll never be able to afford that. Maybe someday, right? And I just kind of, shelved it there. And then when this guy came and said, we want to help out Jefferson in some way, I added it to the list. So when he was going through the list, for him, for giving money, he loves to give money every year. He just, he gives away millions of dollars every year to good causes. And he focuses on, Mountain West is the name of the company, Mountain West Enterprises. They focus on supporting schools, is where they like to spend their money. But they also like supporting senior citizens too. And so when he saw that this really helped the kids in our community, but it also, could potentially help our senior citizens in some way too. We can talk more about that in a little bit. Then he said, "This is why I'm spending money. Like, this is why I'm giving money." And so he didn't really like the idea of the track renovation and all those other ones. He liked this idea, and I was like, well, it's on the list. This is something that we need here. And so that's how it got started. And they sent professionals to look at our space to even see if it was something possible. And then they wrote up a formal, proposal of what it would cost and what it would take to do something. And we told them what it is we wanted. You have to have, like exam rooms have to have certain specifications. And we wanted to have a laundry room where we could wash clothes. We wanted that space for the homeless piece. We wanted a mental health counseling room, and we wanted some space in the middle where we could, put some desks there for, visiting, employees from the ESD and people that help us out that come and be there. So they took all those ideas and built it and made it a reality. And so now they want to have this done for us for the fall in 2023.
It's amazing.
Wow, that's really quick.
Yeah, that's a super fast turnaround.
It is, and it was faster than we thought. And which, okay, it's all gifted. It's his money. It's his construction team. They built the Willamette Career Academy in Salem. You know, you remember it used to be
Wow.
the Toys R Us building on Lancaster,
Right, right.
and they took that and they built it into a school. And so that's the group that's coming to build our center.
I got to tour that facility, and they did a fantastic job on it.
Oh, good. Yeah, yeah, it is beautiful.
So, are there any quote strings attached with this
Nope.
donation?
No strings attached. There's Jefferson owns the building outright. Everything, we control it, and uh, the investor, you know, the person who's donating all this money, just wants to give out of the kindness of his heart.
That's amazing. I wish I had that kind of money to just give millions of dollars
Right?
to people.
Right? And
Must be really nice.
well,
But I appreciate being on the receiving end of it. So I think our community is going to massively benefit from this. So when does construction start? When are we, like, we've got the plans written? When's all this happening?
well, it's due to start this month.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, in April. And so there, you know, it's not a major construction because we already have a building, right? It's already, the four walls are there. It's just retrofitting the four walls and putting offices in there. And so it's not a major deal, and it's slated to be about a $400,000 project. It could be less than that.
Oh.
And Mountain West has committed to making sure that Jefferson School District doesn't have to pay a dime.
Wow.
And we're also reaching out to other organizations, foundations, to help with the costs. So he already put up his, you know, it's his team coming to do the build, and it's his team that, you know, he put $100,000 down. But we're also, we got $75,000 from Joe Weston. We got $75,000 from the Eppings Foundation. Ford Family Foundation is interested in helping us out, and we're in conversations with them. And then Pacific Source is another group that we are meeting with, or have met with already, but I'm meeting with again this week, and they also look to be donating money. So every time I talk to a donor, like a foundation, a group like this, they are so supportive of this kinds of work happening in small communities, and they all see the value of something like this in Jefferson.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you drive through Jefferson, there's just not a whole lot in terms of services, and there really isn't anything. So this is something that our kids are going to really benefit from.
It's amazing. So where, I know we have some stuff on the website, right, about this information. Are we going to keep updating that? Is that something, like, how can people ask more questions so that we can keep that more updated?
Well, we put a Q&A together, and we dedicated a web page to it, and we sent out the Q&A to the whole community as kind of a blurb, you know, that they, with a link to it, that they could go right to it, so they can get right to our page. But if you go to our website, right on the front page, you can see, you know, a link to the school-based health center. And so I encourage everybody to get on there and to look at it, read through the questions, and if there's, you know, it's understandable. Anytime you bring something new like this, it brings a little bit of fear.
Yeah.
Right? Because what is that going to mean? You know, what kind of medical services, or what, you know, what does that mean for mental health counseling? What is that, right? And so the more we can answer, the better. I think more people their fears will be allayed, and they can see that this is just something to help kids, and we're focused on kids here in this school district, and seeing, you know, how we can remove barriers and provide support for kids in a way that is either no cost or low cost. So I think it's a win-win for this community.
I agree.
It sure sounds like it.
Yeah.
Well, that is our first episode today, and thank you guys for joining me, and I'm excited about our next little venture here, and look in our next episodes as we continue to look for great happenings in Jefferson School District where we can talk about and interview. And I look forward to going out to the schools and being able to interview some people there too. So
Me too.
thanks
I'll
for
be
coming
listening.
along with me on this journey.
Of course. Thanks for having us, Brad.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.